So, hello and welcome to the Real Estate Focus Group. We meet here every other Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. We're also on YouTube at, you'll never guess, the Real Estate Focus Group. And if you're not a member already, please join the Facebook group so you can stay on top of everything and get your invites. Today, we've got a dear friend. We've got Tim Bush today. And Tim is by far one of the most positive, energetic, awesome people that we know. He's from Bangor, Maine. His office is consistently top in the nation in Next Home. He runs an awesome brokerage. So I don't want to take any more time away from Tim. So here's our good friend, Tim Bush. Tim?
Thank you so much, guys, and thank you, Chuck and Pat, for welcoming me on this week. It's an honor to come on this, and just kudos to you guys for being such incredible next homies and taking your time to deliver this on a bi-weekly basis for our next home. This is awesome, and I'm just super. So I'm just excited. It's been 2 months, and I miss y'all. I'm gonna tell you guys what. Miss y'all so much. And one of the worst things in the world, I'm going to tell you guys, is social media. And so social media is one of the biggest things I hate because it makes me miss out on so many things that you guys are doing. I want to come down to Florida. I want to come out to the West Coast. I want to come see y'all. So can't wait to travel a little bit this year. Quick plug, I know there's a lot of next home events coming on. I think that there is one coming out in Idaho. I believe I'm going to be attending that one with my good friend. I just saw him get on here, Kent Rodehaver. I believe Kent's on there. Sylvia, I believe you're going to be out there as well, correct? All right, so we've got some few people that are going to be on that one as well. And Carrie, Courtney, and Chad are hosting that. And then there's going to be some fall ones, but we won't give them the time of day yet. Fall ones will take place in a few months. We'll give them their limelight. But just super excited for you guys. Me a little bit what I consider, I think, the most beneficial part of all of your businesses. And so a lot of people ask me over the course of time, like, Tim, what do you do for lead generation? What do you pay for? And I tell everyone we don't pay for anything. We have zero paid lead generation. And I'm going to lie and get back to that in a second. We do some paid things, but we're paying for our sphere. We're not paying for actual leads to come in through the company. And after my first year in real estate, I remember I sold 28 homes my first year in real estate. And we had a baby that year. I took like 2 to 3 months off, came back and still finished that. That was back pre-COVID, back in 2018, 2019. And I remember asking a few people in our office, I said, how do I recreate this? Because I don't actually know what I did. And I think a lot of you would probably be in that sense of in your first few years of actually doing decent production, you probably looked at yourself and said, I don't actually know how to recreate this. I just got really busy and I worked with a lot of really great people, but I don't know how to go get another 30 to 40 deals next year. Where do I go? And the simple truth is this: every single agent in real estate each year tries to figure out, if your goal is 25, they try and figure out how they can meet a new 25 people. If your goal is 50, they try and figure out how to meet a new 50 people. But what they forget is they have 25 raving fans from the previous year that can help us really hit that goal without having to go meet new people. We're going to use them in their sphere, and I call it spider webbing the sphere, right? When you break a pane of glass, right, it breaks into a million pieces. Spider web, right? It always has a bunch of different legs that it's creating off of it. We want to take our sphere of influence and we want to make it grow through them to meet new people. So we created what we call the 90-day SOI domination plan. So show of hands, who heard us deliver this from the main stage at conference this year? Awesome. That was a fun. Full disclosure, 100%. I found out that I was delivering this on the main stage literally like hours before. This was not planned. So when people are like, "Oh, did Dwiggins like, were you guys planning on that?" And he pulled you back on stage, I'm like, "No, that was like actually really. That's how it really played out in real life." So that was I got thrown not to the wolves on that one, but definitely put out there to deliver this to you guys. And if we weren't doing it in our I think really difficult. But for those of you guys there, a lot of people got a lot of really great content from it that day. The one thing I will tell you guys that I did not explain well from the stage, and I wish I would have actually done that, is that this is not a 90-day plan to where you do it And when the 90 days are over, it stops. This is a 90-day plan that continues to recycle throughout the entire year. And what you're going to do is you're going to have people in different phases of it the entire time. The whole point of what this is to create what we like to call in real estate a funnel. And many realtors work top of funnel the entire time. And what top of funnel is that you're always looking 30 days out, right? Like what's closing in 30 days. What we want to start doing is what's closing in 30 days at top of funnel. The middle funnel is about 60 to 120 days, and the bottom funnel is about 120 to 365. Like, where are we consistently working these deals to make sure that our cup is always full, not overflowing? We want to work like, a really great business to where we're not drowning, but we want to work a system to where we're continuing to fill the funnel without having to work 5 deals, close them all out, spend 3 months getting another 5 deals, filling the funnel back up, dumping it back out, and we just want it to continue to grow on top of each other. Does that make sense to everyone? Awesome. All right. So without further ado, let's jump into this fun PowerPoint presentation. One of my favorite things in the world is PowerPoint. For those of you guys who know me really well, I'm a huge PowerPoint guy. All right. Can you guys see the presentation? Perfect. No,
Yes, we can.
love it. All right. We are up and running. So the 90-day SOI domination plan, it hinges over relationships, conversations, appointments, and closings. This is a 3-phase, 90-day plan here. So our foundations and our core goals, we want to create a predictable pipeline. When I say a predictable pipeline, we're looking to build a consistent, reliable flow of business from our sphere of influence. So I think Graham Stiles is delivering a new training plan as well that he calls the Raving Fans, very similar to what kind of Graham does and how he creates that. And I think they play off each other really well. Weekly appointments. We want to make sure that you're creating weekly appointment opportunities every single week, no exceptions. And I'll get into that in a little bit. We want to have consistent conversations. We want you to be able to generate regular, meaningful dialogue every single week. Everywhere you go, someone should be able to walk in and say, I know Tim, he's a realtor. So Alex was there. Carrie Sutton's not on this, and neither is Brad Gill or some of the other folks that were up in Maine last summer. But when they landed in Maine, I took them to the Hannaford to where we could go get some steaks, and we're heading out to my lake house to go grill out before we had a fun little weekend conference. And while we were in there, they saw like 10 people come up to me and she'd be like, oh, Tim, how are you? Hey, Tim, how are you? And I make the joke in training that one of my biggest lead generation spots is the grocery store. And I love talking to people at a grocery store because you can just catch people out of their element so much and strike up such meaningful dialogue. And I truly love, like, I'll take pictures every once in a while in the produce section and I'll put it on our Agent Connect page for our internal office. And I'll say, hey guys, guess who's lead genning today? Like, what did you do? And it's kind of the running joke that the Hannaford is one of my go-to places to create consistent conversations. And we'll talk about how you guys can kind of make some of those in your neck of the woods of what's important to you. And then obviously we want you guys to be the go-to local expert. On top of that, like with the sphere of influence, we also want you to have some social media domination with that too. One of the things I'm a big believer in is that static posting is dead and that videos are the way of the future. I'm not saying that you don't post static posts. I just think that the Canva graphics are, no longer doing what they used to do, and the reels and the videos are where we need to be going into the future of real estate. Now, I might be wrong on that, and there might be a way of the future for the static posting. I am nowhere near the expert that's going to decide what social media does and doesn't do, but I'm just telling you the way of video is definitely the way of the future. Now, when we look at weekly appointments, I'm gonna talk to you guys about what I really believe in this. And who here knows the man they call Jim Fischetti? I love Jim Fischetti. Jim Fischetti might be one of the greatest human beings I've ever met in my life. Truly think he's just one of the greatest real estate minds I've ever seen, and truly someone who genuinely cares about business and human beings. What Jim talks about and he hangs his hat on is reverse engineering. You need to know your numbers. So when we look at weekly appointments, this is going to be the most important part of your business. Now, how many of you guys know what is the number one thing Tim Bush likes to do outside of real estate? Ready? Anyone want to jump on and tell me? Alex Crum, what do you think? I can't hear him.
You drink coffee.
I do love coffee. What else? There's a place that I like to go.
Disney.
Disney World, right? I'm actually wearing my Disney garb today. I got my Stitch hat. I got all my stuff going. I love to go to Disney World. So when I'm creating my year, I actually take away my vacation weeks when I'm doing my reverse engineering. So I figure out every single year where I'm going to be. So when I go to conference, guys, conference is a week that I'm generating leads with you guys in relationships, but I'm not generating them back home. And so that's a week off from lead generation. When I go to Disney, I'm not working lead generation. So really, I take about 5 to 6 weeks a year off from standard lead generation. So when I'm making my weekly numbers, I have to factor everything on a reverse engineering of 46 weeks. So when I'm trying to figure out, like, say I have to get 100 contacts, if I had to get 100 contacts, I would have to do 100 contacts in 46 weeks, not 52. So that would basically be 2.17 per week is who I need to make contact with for new relationships. Now, that number is way higher than 2.17, but I'm just giving you guys that as a rough example. So as we get into this next one, we're going to start diving into where those weeks actually come from and what the numbers are. Now, I want you guys to know that what I told you is that I sent this information to Pat and Chuck. They have all of you guys' emails for everyone that's in the Next Home Focus group. I have also sent them 2 additional things that they can send to you guys and you can use for training in your office. I've sent you the editable PowerPoint presentations. These numbers can all be changed to reflect what you guys do for business. Now, when we created this with a goal of about 25 units in mind. Anyone know why we created that with 25 units in mind? Oh, come on. You guys are all smarter than that. What's 80% of 25? 20. We're realtors on math. If I would have asked you guys how to calculate your commission, you would have figured that out in a breeze. But okay, so 20. So 25, 80% of 20. That is the Next Home Awards criteria. We wanted all of our agents to have a goal to be a Next Home Award winner. All right. So if they shot for 25 and they came 20% light, they were still an award winner under the Premier Sales Agent Award goal of 20 units. So that's why where that number came from. Anything you guys want to do, you can edit this. But we believe every single week should have the 60 to 90-minute SOI power block. So basically every weekday, Monday through Friday, you are doing these activities, right? So 5 people. You have to contact 5 people every single Monday, every single Tuesday, every single Wednesday, and so on. Engage on social media to 10 people in your sphere of influence. Now, when we engage with 10 people on our sphere of influence on social media, this is not just a happy face emoji, like, way to go, congratulations. This is like, oh my word, Alex, I can't believe you were out at this beach today. This looks incredible. Can you send me a picture of that sunset one more time to tell my wife why we should move? Down to you. And so you're engaging with actual real content so that way you can create that relationship. Why is this the most important thing possible? Does anyone know this right here, the engaging with 10 people? Why is this so important for you to do? And I'm going to tell you guys, if you've never been on a Zoom with me, you're going to learn real quick. If people don't talk, I will call on you. And so to save yourself from being called on for something you might not know, speak up when you know, because I'm going to look for the people not paying attention. Trisha, yeah.
Because if you don't stay in front of them, they're going to go get another agent, out of sight, out of mind.
Absolutely. And it's one of those that we want to make sure we're not being a secret agent. There's another thing that I'm going to tell you guys that we're really strategic about with this engage with 10 people on our sphere of influence. Anyone ever heard of an algorithm? These fun things on social media that they tend to not put our posts where we want them to be. When we're engaging with people on social media, right? If I comment on Alex and then Alex comments back to me and then I like his post, social media was just told that this person and I are now connected, and there's a higher likelihood that they're going to see my content. So when we're looking at the 10 people to engage with on social media, we are really, really, really strategic to make sure that those 10 people are someone that we're looking to engage with that week. There's a reason we use those 10 people. And it might be someone that I know they might be looking to sell in the next 2 months. So I want to make sure that I'm about to drop a new listing that afternoon. If I engage them on social media that morning, they might start seeing my content for that new listing, right? And so we're engaging with people. And I called it online. James told me I couldn't say it, but that was back when he was the owner. He's now just the president, so I don't know if he can fire me or not. So we got to see if Leo will allow me to say it. But I called it sphere stalking. Like we stalk our sphere to see what they're doing, what they're up to, what's going on, right? When I look at someone that's doing curb appeal projects around their house, listen, I live in Maine. I'm here to tell you that people don't care about curb appeal for their house. The only time my neighbors do curb appeal projects when they're getting ready to sell their house. Otherwise, they just leave it till October and it gets covered up with the snow. So when I start seeing curb appeal projects, those are people I'm now engaging with, right? I know that that is a trigger for a real estate sale to start occurring. And so the 10 people that you guys are going to choose daily, I want you to start really honing into that and understanding where your sphere is acting and how they could possibly transact within that year so you can start delivering on that algorithm in a really high level functionality. Now, the 2 pipeline follow-ups a week. We want to make sure that everyone in your pipeline has an effective follow-up contact, right? And it might be, we have a girl named Caitlin Hawkins in our office that her and I meet every single Monday, and we talk about where her pipeline is at, where she needs to be, and how she needs to be there, right? And so every follow-up that she's doing with her clients isn't always a phone call. It's not always a text message. It might just be something as simple as a Facebook message, right? That contact follow-up that week might just be a Facebook message or a Facebook comment on a post to stay relevant in that. But they're really strategic within every single individual. Our last thing, and this is a non-negotiable, 1 CRM note after every contact. After every contact, they should be putting a note in there. Now, I will tell you guys, we have someone on this call right now who I think is the absolute best when it comes to our CRM with the Next Home, and he's got a phenomenal beard. He's beautiful, beautiful human being. He's moving himself off the screen right now. It is the one, the only Alex Crum out of Sarasota. And I will tell you guys this. I do not use a CRM the way Alex Crum does. I do not send a lot of mail, emails, and all these things. But what I do believe in at a bare minimum is keeping your CRM for a database to where you can actually go back and talk to an individual and have a record of what the conversations were. If you don't want to use it as an actual marketing system, the way it's designed to be used in a really high efficient way, at least do me this favor and use it as a way to create content for people to be in there. Yes, Alex.
One thing that I will say, Tim, is that using your CRM is critically important. And it's also a pain in the butt. And watch the Next Home group a little bit later on today. I won't steal what you're doing here because this is way more important and way better. But today I'm showing you guys something so that you can add and update your contacts in your CRM, including notes from people right from Gmail. You never leave Gmail. You never log into Bold Trail, and all of it updates everything, information, notes, hashtags, everything. So just watch for that later.
Oh, I love that. Love that. Yes, make sure you tune into that. So, just relationship activity every weekday, no exceptions. Everyone understand this? All right, perfect. We're going to move on to the next one. So, activity numbers that we're looking for them to hit every single week. And these numbers have to be hit consistently or they will not produce the results. They need to reach out to 30 direct contacts per week. They need to have 12 real conversations, like real dialogue, 3 appointments set per week, 1 pipeline review, and 1 visibility post. Now, the visibility post is not like they need to have five social media posts a week. The visibility post is more of a, and I'm going to show you guys in something I'm going to provide you guys in a little bit later. It's more of why they should be contacting you, right? Like if you guys have seen my social media recently, you'll notice that we're very, very, very heavy on videos right now. And I'm gonna show you guys, I'm gonna take you off of this. So I'm not gonna get too much into it right now, but I'm gonna show you why there's a way to do certain video posting effectively. We have a couple questions in here. Let me see. Oh, they were all for Alex. Perfect. All right, now the 50-day structure right here. We have 3 aggressive phases that we're looking to dominate your sphere. You've got the reconnect and reactivate stage, and you've got the momentum building, and then you've got the conversion and closing stage. The reconnect and reactivate stage is probably one of the funniest stages you'll ever be in, and it's the one that has the most rejection in it. And the reason it has the most rejection in it is because you guys forget how to date people, right? It's we all get into this strategy of real estate, and we just go for it right off the bat, right? We're like, hey, I want to date you. We don't court anymore, right? It's you've got to go on 3 to 4 dates before you can enter that, dating relationship with a girlfriend or boyfriend, right? You got to make sure that you're actually establishing a relationship. When you're reconnecting and reactivating, you cannot ask them for business if you haven't talked to them in years, right? We're trying to reconnect and reestablish a relationship here. And what we're going to do is over that first 30-day period, we're going to get them reacclimated with you, because otherwise you're just an MLM person reaching out trying to get their money. And they're going to use the person they trust. Real estate is a hyper local, trustworthy business. Over and over again, people do not use the best realtor. I'm here to tell you, the best realtor does not get chosen in every situation. The person that they trust the most is who gets used in that situation. So everyone focuses so much on trying to show everyone why they're the best realtor, why I'm the best sales agent, why I do this better than the next person, instead of actually establishing that trust and reconnecting with the individuals before they take them down that business route. So when we look at this, we call it the wake up the sphere and identify potential movers. So what we're doing is we're doing 30 reach outs per week with 10 real conversations, our social media activation, 5 curious homeowners is what we're looking to identify. So we're hoping that within this reconnection phase, we can potentially find 5 curious homeowners that are looking to do something with buying or selling. It's not going to be within the first message. All right. And then we're just trying to build that relationship momentum. Phase 2 is where we start turning warm relationships into meetings now, right? And so we're upping this to about 35 reach outs per week, 12 to 15 conversations, 6 curiosity conversations. And so the curiosity conversation might be something like me reaching out to Alex and saying, hey, Alex, it's been so great connecting with you over the last month. One of the things I'm really looking to do today is I'm looking to add 3 people into my book of business this year where I can help them become an investor. Do you potentially know one person you might be able to connect me with? Like I said, I'm looking to do 3 new investors this year and see if I can teach them how to do Airbnbs. Is there anyone right now that might come off the tip of your mind that you could think of that maybe you could connect me with? And Alex is like, oh my word, yeah, 1 person out of 3, I could do that. That's super easy, right? But we've established like a 30-day period of contact before I go in for that hard ask, right? And then 3 to 4 appointments a week. This is where we're starting to get into the actual appointment setting of what we were doing. And then 3 like who you are in the marketplace, what you do, what you bring to the table. Before it was all curious, now it's actually driven to why you are successful. The conversion and closing stage is where we start getting into the hardcore of pipeline reviewing, right? Now you guys have been adding people into your pipeline, you've been putting in your notes, you've been staging your contacts. Now you're getting into really reviewing that 2 times a week, making sure that you're staying up to date with the people that you started with 60 to 90 days ago. You're starting to get into 25 reach outs per week. We're setting 4 to 5 appointments, 3 homeowner value conversations, 5 active buyers maintained. At this stage, you need to have 5 active clients being maintained. All right, does everyone understand that? Now, you probably have a lot of questions. The answer is this was just the structure. Now we're going to get into it. All right, so for the reconnect and reactivate phase, when I talk to you guys about 30 reach outs per week and 10 real conversations, these can be as simple as just a text check-in, a DM connection, a voice message, or a phone call. One of the things that I really like to do, and you guys have probably seen that, and I've said it a couple times on this already, I think video is the way of the future. I will send a video text message. I think people are much more receptive to respond to a video text message than they are just standard text. Why? Because you took so much time and made that video personal to send to them that it comes across rude and ignorant to not respond back to that, right? So I get a much higher return on my messaging when I send a video with it. Now the video could just be something as simple as this. Hey, Sylvia, it's Tim Bush here. So excited to see you in Idaho in July. I know we haven't got to connect a lot since conference, but I just wanted you to know I'm so excited to hang out with you in Coeur d'Alene. Listen, I was just wondering, when we get to Coeur d'Alene, could we grab a cup of coffee on like Saturday, Sunday before the conference? I'd love to just connect with you and talk with you about everything you're doing. Again, hope you're having a great day. Can't wait to see you in Idaho. Have a great spring. we'll see you soon, right? Something simple as like just sending them a video about what you want to do, how you want to talk with them. It's going to be a future conversation. But again, it shows a much more vulnerable side of you than just a text message, right? Because they
And I'm
can,
going to reply to that.
and she's going to say, absolutely, as long as you're buying coffee, Tim. But what we're looking for in all of these situations, right? Text is dry. Text has no emotion. Real estate is 100% an emotional business. And the only way you can win at an emotional level is meeting people with the emotion, not emojis, emotion they need to receive. When we look at relationship building in this first phase, I like to send 2 appreciation messages a week, right? Tag 3 people in content and introduce 1 person to someone helpful. Now, this is from Givers Give and principle of reciprocity. The more you do for other people, the more that will come back to you, right? Anyone that took, everyone in real estate, we all failed out of college, and some of you might have a degree, but the rest of us are just college dropouts sitting over here trying to make a living, right? But we all took Psych 101. In Psych 101, we learned about the principle of reciprocity. And so one of the things you might do is look on Facebook and see a contractor that might need help, right? And so all of a sudden you're like, hey, listen, I know you're a great contractor. I've talked to you recently. You do great work. Are you struggling to find business right now? Maybe I can help connect you with people. And then you start tagging that contractor in other people's things. Like, hey, who needs their roof redone? Anyone have anything that's just recently happened? You live in Florida. You've got hurricanes, high winds, like all those issues. In Maine, we've got seasonal depression. Snow damage destroys everything. So every spring, looking for projects, right? Who next? No. All of a sudden you're starting to tag people with other people that you're connecting them with without expecting anything in return. Now, once you start doing this, I'm going to tell you the business is really going to start multiplying tenfold, because what did you just become on social media? You became an expert in connecting people with a contractor. And so now when someone needs a contractor, who are they going to call? They're going to call you, and they're reaching out, well, Chuck, what did you need for? And he said, we're actually looking to get something fixed around our home because we want to get it ready to list. Well, Chuck, not only can I give you a contractor, but I'd also love to come by your house and talk to you about what renovations might matter to get you the highest possible return on your real estate investment. I had no idea you were looking to sell. Love to connect you with a contractor, but also see if I can help you in this process. Is that something you'd like for me to do? And so the more you can become the expert, the more these opportunities are going to open up for you. Now, when we get into social media activation, this is like probably one of the most important things you can do, to comment on your sphere's posts. Yes, creating your own is great. 100%. You have to create content. We are 100% now in real estate. We have become content creators. That is the role we have created for ourselves, and we have to take that and run with it. However, we need to create algorithms to where people are coming back to us. And so I said this on stage at conference, and I'm going to ask, let's go with Nicole. I don't know if I've ever met Nicole, so we're going to call her Nicole today. We're going to have some fun. Nicole, what do I call social media? What do you think? I got rid of the word social. What do you think my favorite word to call it is?
Oh, I don't know.
Social media has turned into scroll media. That's all we do on it, right? We get on there and we just start scrolling, and we start scrolling, and we start scrolling. And as we scroll through the feed, we've missed hundreds of people to establish a connection with. So to activate social media, we need to stop scrolling, and we need to put the social back in social media, right? There is a reason that it was created for one thing. And I'm going to date myself a little bit. I'm not that old. But Tom hooked us up. MySpace was where it was at. MySpace was all about connections, right? You got to have your top friends. You got to see who was on there, for what their favorite music was. You got to have a background page to it. Like, that was a really fun time. Like, you got to learn, like, all of a sudden you saw this individual that you thought was a straight A student, and they turned out to be a Blink-182 punk rocker. Like, you had no idea that was their alter ego. But on Facebook, it was created as the Harvard Connection, right? It was the connector for college students. That was where this all started from. We have gotten away from the social aspect of social media, and we really need to dive back into that. And so some of the post types that we can do are market curiosity questions. And I'm going to show you guys, again, I'm not going to waste too much time on this because I want to show you guys one additional thing. I have a couple more PowerPoints that I'm going to give you guys access to that will show you how I think you could change your curiosity posting. But the opportunities we're looking to identify, we want 5 curious homeowners, 3 warm relationships, and 1 potential appointment. All right, now momentum building. Same thing, but we're going to up that to 35 reach outs per week, 12 to 15 conversations. And our curiosity conversation scripts change a little bit to, hey, have you thought about making a move this year? If you did, what would it look like, right? Are you staying long term? 6 curiosity conversations per week can really lead to a huge return on investment. One of our not younger agents, but newer agents at our office, I asked her, I said, you've had a great year. You've done a really good job. I said, how did you go to sell about, 20 to 30 houses in your first year while working another full-time job? And she said, Tim, I stopped trying to market homes, and I would take like a 3-bedroom home and I would reach out to my sphere and say, do you know anyone currently in a 2-bedroom that needs more space? Do you know anyone that just had a lifestyle change that might need an extra bedroom? Is there anyone that just got married that might be looking to start a family? Is there, she started going into all these different scenarios with her sphere to figure out how a 3-bedroom could be more than just a 3-bedroom. It was an opportunity for someone to upsize. We always talk about downsizing, but how many people are, starting a family, getting married, having kids, like doing all these things, and they might need an extra bedroom. One of the biggest things we're seeing is in-laws, right? There now needs to be a space for in-laws to come stay with people. That is probably the biggest new trend we are seeing in real estate, that people actually like their in-laws. This is being recorded, so don't send this to my family, Chuck. I do like my in-laws. But when we're looking at this, we're starting to amp up our social media posting, right? Now it's a minimum of 3 times per week instead of that initial 1, right? And when I said 1, that was the market authority. That's not just regular posting. You need to post about your job every single day. We want the homeowner questions, the market insight, and the community content. One of the things I like to make people understand, Facebook and Facebook stories are 2 different things. Your content on your stories is different than your regular page, and you should be engaging with people in different ways from that. You actually get to go on your story and see who's watched it, right? And that's one of the things I love the most about stories on social media, is I get to see the entire list of who watched that. And I might reach out to someone and be like, hey, I see you saw my story. Is there anything you think I could improve next time? And people are like, what do you mean improve? I'm like, I'm just curious what you thought of the content. Yeah, Alex.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the difference between Facebook and Facebook stories?
Yes. So a story is what you have at the very top of your of your Facebook banner, and it's where people can basically just they can quickly click through a lot of different media. They are usually videos, sometimes they're static posts, but it's probably the #1 way that people are now actually using Facebook, is they're just going through stories and they're not sitting there scrolling, because the scrolling has turned into ads on the news feed, and people are going through the stories and they're just watching videos. Most of these videos are reels and different things that people are posting, but they're a really great way to create short form content. I like to say under 30 seconds, 45 to 30 seconds max is all that should be on a story. People that are doing 5-minute stories, way too much. People aren't watching that. That's for an actual page. But your page is what I consider, and this is what I like to say, your page is your resume. Like in real estate, we don't give resumes to clients. My social media is my resume. When they go to my social media, they know what I stand for. They know who I represent. They know who I work with. They know how I do business. When they go to my story, that's a fun 24 hours for things to just come up and disappear. I love that they don't stay there forever. They are there for 24 hours and then they're gone, right? Now, screenshots are forever. We definitely learn that everywhere we go. Once it's on the internet, it's out there. But stories are a really great way to create and curate different content. I love the curiosity posting from stories. One of the things that I think stories actually do really well with, and even though I said stagnant posting is dead, poll questions on stories are really effective. Like, hey, have you ever thought about renovating a house before? This kitchen or that kitchen? Some really fun things you can do with stories there. But Alex, was that a good description for that for you? Awesome, I love it. One of the things I love with story strategy is some behind the scenes things. Like, people love seeing behind the scenes of real estate. We don't share our bloopers enough, right? I like homeowner tips and some of those things, but ultimately I would say the listings are what really drive that. So if you're a heavy listing agent, get as much listing content as you can out there. When I shoot a listing with my videographer, I actually get 3 videos from that. And so you might only see one being posted. I might use the other 2 later on down the line. Like I'm using it for different promotional activity. Like one of them I did this year was I had a 25-second reel that talked about how at that point in the year that was the highest sale in Bangor and how I did that, what was my marketing strategy. And so I'll use these videos post close for a really fun way to demand market authority. Again, we're looking for 3 to 4 appointments a week at this stage, and our buyer strategies is meeting, and we're trying equity reviews. Equity reviews are a really interesting one that I've started with our clients. Does anyone know what an equity review and what I mean by that is? All right, there's a certain target demographic that we actually go after for equity reviews. And those people are people that bought prior to 2020. If they bought prior to 2020, I don't care what they bought, where they bought, and how they bought, they are sitting on equity and they are sitting on revenue. Every single market did go up, and there's not a single person that's not sitting on some form of equity. And so what we're doing is we're teaching people on if they bought in 2012, how they can use that equity to actually buy their first investment property and how they can buy that first Airbnb. And so the equity reviews are ways for us to sit down with people and teach them how they can use what we like to call OPM, other people's money, to then create wealth for themselves. And so those are some of our more fun conversations. I think those are the ones that people are most interested in. And I think that if you can really get really great at promoting the equity review stage in real estate, you could become an extreme top tier investment real estate broker. Now, our conversations are closings is where we start turning our pipeline into signed clients. So we need to make sure that you're reviewing the pipeline twice per week. Who's moving forward? Who's stalled? Who needs clarity? Who needs encouragement, right? Every single week, you could put people into these 4 categories, right? And when we look at our client database, like moving people up and moving people down is probably the number one thing we can do. I like to remind people what a buyer is, right? So I've called on Alex a few times. Alex always talks. We love that. Let's go on here. Tammy, I know you're like, she turned the video on. She's like, why did I do that? All right, Tammy, can you tell me what you believe a buyer is, a buyer client?
What do you mean? Like what they're looking for or what a buyer client is?
Like when they become a buyer client, like what they have to do to qualify to be a buyer client.
Well, we just have to identify that they're looking for a change, and then actual client is once they've actually signed the paper. But we still have to communicate and advertise to them before that.
Yep, 100%. And I gave you a really tough one. There was no way you were going to get that because honestly, you have no idea what I'm looking for in this answers. I just wanted to get you talking, get you out of your comfort zone. So I appreciate you doing that, Tammy. You are wonderful.
I'm unfriending you.
You're unfriending me?
Just kidding.
Tammy, I am consistent. I will friend you back, girl. You are not getting away from me. We're friends forever. But what I look for in a buyer client, right? It's very specific, right? A buyer client is someone who is ready, willing, and able to produce, perform, and contractually make a closing happen. If they are not willing to do all of those things, they are a potential lead in the funnel system, and they do not get the same time that a buyer client gets and deserves, right? One of the things we do so awful is we don't move people up and down in the process, right? I could have a buyer client that's ready, willing, able to produce, perform, and contractually make a closing happen. And then 2 weeks later, their life changes. They need to be moved down in my funnel system. Just because they were up in that funnel system 2 weeks before does not mean that they get the same time 2 weeks later. If their life has changed and they're now 6 months out, then they're going into lead status, right? And yes, we're still going to work with them, but they are not an active buyer client right now. Now, we still need to follow up with them and make sure we don't lose that relationship, but my active clients get my attention more than that. Does that make sense? So we really need to be looking at our clients based off of like where they are in the funnel system. So when I say who moved forward, who stalled, who needs clarity, who needs encouragement, these are also for you as well, right? Where are you working your clients? And if you can't look at your client database every single week and move them up or down based off of where they fall, then you're not working a business, your business is working you. And that's where the real estate burnout and lack of closings comes from. Now, in this one, This is where we're looking to set 4 to 5 appointments per week. That is a lot of appointments. A lot. Now, the law of averages tells us that if you go on an appointment, you're going to 75 to 80% of the time get the appointment, right? That is what real estate numbers tell us. And if you go on 4 to 5 appointments a week, and I work 46 weeks a year, that's 230 appointments times 0.80. That means I could have 184 potential clients. Now, when we start getting into Jim Fichetti's reverse engineering, we can actually take these and figure out who's going to transact. Now, these are just 184 potential clients. Now we're going to start getting into the numbers of who's willing to sign a contract, who's ready to move forward, who's ready to execute here. And this is where we'll slowly start dwindling this number down into where they fit in the funnel system. The one thing I'm going to tell you guys is that conversations create opportunity, follow-up creates trust, and consistency creates closings. You cannot have a consistent business without having conversations, follow-up, and consistency. It is the only thing that truly matters. So here's some of our weekly posting that we talk about. Market insight, homeowner tips, lifestyle, personal content, question or engagement. This is something that you can just do, like I said, totally up to you, what you're looking to do, however you want to market your business. I promote the heck out of my kids. My kids are like, I did a video today saying I couldn't wait to be on this video with you guys. Well, my son Hudson came outside and joined me on the deck. That was great. I go inside, Charlotte's yelling at me. She goes, how come Hudson got to be in the video today and not me, right? So like they actually enjoy, like I'm not just like forcing them into this. They actually really enjoy being part of you guys' like lives and being a next homie. My daughter really enjoys that. What a healthy pipeline looks like, and this is where we get into the fun part, okay? You need to have, and your pipeline right here is flipped upside down, okay? So it is a flipped pipeline. At all points of time, you need to have 20 curious potential people identified in your sphere. People that might decide to be a buyer or a seller within the next 12 months. 10 warm, active conversations happening within your sphere. So these are the people that have gone from curious to starting to narrow in that relationship status. From there, you need to be getting 6 people at a time, 6 into the appointment stage, and 4 active clients in the revenue stage. If you do not have this, you are going to have a hard time closing 25 transactions a year, right? Because in your state right now, how long does it take to close a deal? Some of you might be 75 days, right? They might be taking longer. Some are 60. In Maine, we're 30 to 45, right? But if you don't have 4 active clients closing at a time in 30 to 45 days, it's impossible to get 25. Those numbers just don't add up, right? And so that's why the reverse engineering to where your numbers need to be are really important to you. Now, here's the fun part. You guys are going to get the editable version of this PowerPoint. You can make these numbers whatever you want them to be. The system is the system. You can change the numbers to fit your business. When we get into weekly reporting, this is where you guys can actually start targeting and see where you need to be. So this is where you guys can start running weekly reporting, checking your numbers, tracking your reach outs, your conversations, your appointments, your pipeline ads, and then doing your follow-ups. So the moral of this is you don't need more leads, you need more clarity conversations. Because what happens when you create conversations creates opportunity. Follow-up creates the trust, and consistency creates the closings. Now, I'm not done, because I'm going to give you guys another one. Let's go into this real quick. And I told you I was going to give you guys some add-ons today. All right. So I sent this over to Chuck and Pat, and they're going to be able to forward this to you guys. And how do you actually become the go-to agent in your marketplace? Stop being seen and start being chosen, right? When I run into someone in Bangor and they say, I need a realtor, I want to do people say your name. And what I want you guys to really do a gut check moment about today is, are you just hoping that they're going to scroll into you? Or do you know that you're the name that's going to come up every time they look for someone and get tags and phone calls, right? Where are you in your point of business for this? Now, here's the truth bomb. Most agents aren't losing because they're bad. None of you guys are bad. Very few agents are actually bad at what they do. It's kind of funny. The people that are doing the transactions winning are usually the bad agents, not the ones that are losing out on the deals, right? You guys are really great agents. The reason you're losing is because you become forgettable, right? You don't have a lead problem, you have an attention problem. And that's not because you're not great at what you do. It's just you're not telling everyone, right? And so most agents stay invisible because they post when they feel like it. They sound like every other agent. They never take a stand, and they wait for business instead of creating it. We all know one person in our life right now who has taken a stand more than anyone else in residential real estate. He's also the tallest individual in residential real estate, and his name's James Dwiggins. That dude stood on more stages and spoke up for transparency more than anyone else. He looked at me at one point, he goes, I feel like I've taken the industry on my back over the last year. And he was not lying. He truly did that. He stood for transparency when no one else would. When others were going towards privatized listings and more profit for the agent, he stood on the side of the consumer. He became one of the most popular people in residential real estate, so much that EXP wanted to combine with us and do a merger and acquisition, right? That is where we became such an incredible company, right? And now we have the opportunity to take our voice and run with it based off of what James Dwiggins has helped build for us. James Dwiggins gave us a podium. Now, what you stand for on that podium is up to you, but you have the entire world out in front of you right now to make your stand. So stop waiting for business, create it. So the go-to agent formula, we're not doing tips, we're installing an identity system. And this is what we tell our agents every single day in social media. One, you need to dominate attention, command authority, but live in proximity and build trust, right? I'm not going to start posting in Florida, right? I'm going to start posting in Bangor. You've got to build trust for everything you're doing. So how can we start dominating attention? One of the things we can do is create content that actually hits, right? Instead of saying like, hey, anyone want to be a home buyer this year? I just got my real estate license and I would love to help anyone looking to buy or sell. Create a post that says, hey, here's what 300,000 actually gets you in Bangor today. And then have a list of homes. Hey, 3 mistakes that cost buyers thousands. Here's what nobody's telling you about selling right now. These are ways that you can actually create content that a consumer is ready, willing, and able to listen to. They want to hear this content. When you're looking at commanding authority, the average agent's going to post, here's a new home in Pasadena, right? No, what you need to be doing is writing, here's exactly why this home will sell and what it means for you. So when people are going, hey, Tim, do you think that home's going to sell at that price? Hey, that home's going to sell at that price because of X, Y, and Z. This is what they've done right. And this is what this means for you who lives in the neighborhood down the street. Here's where your equity is going to increase. And this is a great conversation where Anthony Young comes in and starts talking about value increases, right? I love Anthony. I think he's one of the smartest appraisers in residential real estate. I think he's incredible. If you guys don't follow him, you definitely need to. Now, live in proximity. What I talk about that is have 10 real conversations a day, right? Build your 10-person hit list for today. Live in proximity and actually create a web of people around you. Deals don't come from posts. They come from conversations. So one of the scripts that could convert, hey, quick question. Have you thought about making a move this year? Want me to show you what your home could sell for in this market? Not one of those of, hey, do you want to sell? Well, yeah, like maybe they want to sell. I don't know if they do or don't, but like, hey, what could your home actually sell for in this market? That just gives them a talk about numbers at that point. We're kind of flipping the script on how you guys can do this. Now, one of the things we're looking to do is build unbreakable trust. Attention gets you noticed, but trust gets you paid. So when you show up the same way every single day, that's called consistency. If you continue to post on Facebook, on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, you are building a consistent business that tells the consumer that you are not the average realtor. You are a professional in this industry that demands professional respect and the reputation that goes along with it. You're not just a real estate agent, you're a storyteller. Now, that's probably one of the things I'm the best at, like in my industry up here, is I am really good at speaking and talking and telling stories. I'm not saying the stories make sense or they all add up, but I'm really good at creating a story that people can follow. Social proof, right? Let the results do the talking and 100% be real. Authenticity will beat perfection every single time. Guys, I am part of the 1% in real estate in my marketplace. I'm part of the top percent next home in the nation. Guys, I wear Disney tie-dye t-shirts around to closings. Like, I do not care. I do not wear a suit. I do not wear a tie. Like, I am who I am, and you are going to use me because you like Tim Bush. How I dress, how I act, who I am, like, that's me. Like, when we get into business, I'm going to turn on business, but I'm not going to change who I am as a human being to try to get people to think that I'm professional. I'm professional because of what I do in the real estate world, right? People don't hire the most talented agent. They hire the one they feel the safest with. And so the go-to agent blueprint for you guys, claim your territory. I want you guys to, I'm going to send this all out to you. Well, I think Chuck and Pat are going to be able to actually do that, but I want you guys to write this down. I want you to claim your territory. I am the go-to agent for blank in blank, helping people do what, right? What are you the go-to agent for, right? So I am the go-to agent for selling investment properties in Bangor, Maine, helping people increase their personal portfolio. Your power statement, I help blank do blank in blank without what? So, I help people create Airbnbs in Bangor without creating all this extra income that I use other people's money, right? You can create it however you want, but say it loud and build it with confidence, right? This is your power statement. This is who you are. This is what you create. This is your real estate mantra. Now, your weekly content machine, 3 authority posts, 2 personal posts, 2 market posts. The 7-day takeover. For the next 7 days, you're not allowed to play small. If you do not listen to anything today that I said, I don't care. Because I still love you guys as human beings. But listen to this. Take the next 7 days and take over your social media. Post daily, talk to 10 people daily, shoot 3 videos, start 20 conversations, and teach something every day. Whether it's to one person or to 100, teach someone something every single day. Visibility, consistency, and certainty. You don't need more time. You need to decide. Are you going to be known or are you going to be ignored? And when it comes to real estate, the best way to create success is to just have a conversation. All right. So that was a marathon. I've got one more thing that I'm going to show you guys that I'm going to give to, I think I already sent it out to Chuck and Pat, but it is this right here. So this is what we created for Win the Appointment. I'm not going to go, I'm going to do this in 60 seconds, guys, because I want to give a few minutes for questions at the end. But this is called Win the Appointment. So you guys are going to get access to all 3 of these training materials today. So be the go-to agent, the 90-day SOI activation, and Win the Appointment. All right. These are editable. You can transition them for your area. You can make them for your office, whatever you need to do. These are truly like wonderful, wonderful trainings that you guys can do within your office space. So Win the Appointment before you ever walk in. The core truth, the appointment's not where you win, it's where you confirm. And so this, when you guys go through this, the next home prep, positioning, research, expectation, persuasion. The positioning is your identity over information. The research, expectation engineering, persuade. And then we actually do in our trainings every single week, I make them get their phones out and we do live execution. They hate me like for this. Like our agents literally get so mad when I do this, and I don't care because it is so exhilarating when a newer, younger agent who's nervous about making a phone call does something in a live activation, and all of a sudden 60 seconds later the person responds and they have a meeting set up. Like, it is truly like one of the most fun things in real estate to watch other people have that instant success. And I promise you guys, if you do this within your office, you will see people have instant success. The only thing you have to do is do it. Right? It's super easy. In this, it's going to go over some objection handling before the appointment. It's going to give you a daily challenge. It's really a really simplistic system. So this is what we do in our office to teach them how to win the appointment. So I'm going to give that to you guys all today. And that is, one of the things I want to do. I've told James Dwiggins we are going to lead in Bangor in one way and one way only this year. And it is not being the #1 next home in the nation. Our goal at Next Home Experience in Bangor, Maine is no longer to be the #1 next home in the nation. We want to be the #1 next home that produces the most content for you guys that you can then take back to your office and implement how we're doing business. We want to open our doors and share every single thing that we are doing with you guys, so that way you guys can be incredible brokers as well and take training back to your agents. And we are going to be releasing this year, and I don't want to quote this because I don't know if shouldn't speak for corporate yet. But I told James that by the time Summit comes around, we are going to have a complete year training program that we want to provide to all the broker owners at Summit. I don't know if that's going to be part of Next Home's plans, so don't quote me on that. I know we're working on ours. They might have their own plans and they want to do something else, but at a bare minimum, we are hosting a conference in Bangor, Maine, October 5th and 6th. We are super excited about that. We're going to have a lot more people coming, but right now our keynote speakers are going to be the one and only James Dwiggins and Charis Moreno. And then, does anyone else know who we've got coming to that in Bangor? Anyone heard? Yeah, Alex, who'd you hear?
I heard Jay-Z. No, I'm sorry, Jared James.
Jared James is coming to Bangor, Maine, y'all. We are so excited. We've got Jared James coming, and it is going to be an epic 2-day event with a free third day. And so here's what we're doing with the third day. One, on day 1 and 2, John Coda is actually going to sit down with all broker owners in a closed up boardroom, and he's going to teach you guys how to be John Coda. This was an incredible session last year. People literally had, like, Charis's phone was ringing off the hook, and she's like, I've got to get John to Summit. And she's like, how do we get John to Summit this year? And I'm like, I'm sorry, he's not coming. It's his son's senior year. He's not missing a football game. And so this was an incredible session. The broker owners in the room were like blown away. It was really wonderful. So we want to run that back. We've also decided that we're going to add a third day for free at our Next Home office in Bangor. And what we're going to do on this day is we are going to give you guys an entire year training program that I just talked about. And we're going to teach you how to implement it in your office, what to do, how to do it. And we're going to send you back with all the tools. So we are super excited about that. That is a mouthful. I have not stopped talking for 59 minutes. What do you guys have for questions for me today?
Tim, this is the single best social media. I don't even want to call it a class, but just the best I've ever seen. Well done, sir.
Well, thank
And
you so
I'm
much.
not blowing smoke. That's great. You did great today.
This was a master class. Thank you, Tim. I took so many notes. That's kind of how I gauge these things, and I've got pages of notes from you, my friend.
Thank you.
So I can't
I'm
believe
very
it's been an
appreciative of
hour
this.
already.
I know. It's
Now,
fun.
to get the materials that Tim promised, if you're not already getting emails from me about the focus group, make sure you put your name and email address in the comments so I can add you to the list. Because I don't want anybody to miss out, because if you're not already on my list, you won't get them. And if you're on my list, you will know. Except for Patricia. I know I know my emails aren't finding their way to you, but we'll get that solved. So thanks again, everybody. This is the Real Estate Focus Group. We meet here every other Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. And I'm your host, Chuck Vosberg, normally along with my wife, Pat, but she's out at an inspection today. We're your friends in Florida. And make sure you join the Facebook group, the Real Estate Focus Group. And that's on Facebook. So thank you. Have a wonderful day. And thank you again, Tim.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.